Hello everyone. As I revisited this old video, I noticed a couple things that make it outdated. Like for starters, the railmobile running like a steam locomotive but still running on gasoline is not how things work, and it's not practical either. Second, you don't have to do mass deforestation for railroad track ties these days. And third, you can't convert a plane into a train. It won't be as powerful, it would be inefficient. And a locomotive with jet boosters has been tried, and it didn't work out. And planes may not be all that dangerous, but there is something that can be inefficient about one. Now with all of that out of the way, let's relearn why cars risky, trains safe, and how we can make transport safer and more efficient overall. With a car, you have to steer by using a steering wheel to turn it, and you, the driver, are the only way of guiding it. And it can also travel other surfaces as well, like grass or sand, but most legally, the road. Failure to have full attention to it, or something else, the crash can be catastrophic. You would either be at the hospital after this, or the graveyard. Either way, it's not good. But a train only travels on the tracks it was built for. It's either the tracks that guide steer it, or there is a switch to choose its path. Planes are restricted to only the best quality weather, and can be delayed or cancelled if there's any storm or blizzard. But trains can endure through in the worst weather cases, and the tracks they travel on are on the ground, so there's a reduced likeliness of the front windows getting fogged up or anything like that. So it's very inefficient for planes to only travel in the good weather, leaving all trips taking place in the bad weather not to happen. I don't know about you, but if my flight got delayed or cancelled, I would definitely make sure I get my refund and use my refund money to buy a train ticket. So by pointing out what can be inefficient about a plane, that will definitely challenge reliability. We should start by signing a petition to have more tracks laid, so there can be tracks that lead to houses, stores, schools, drive-thrus, and hospitals. After there are tracks to all these places, freight trains can come to our houses to haul away each and every car, and then far later, those cars would be brought back to the properties in which they belong to, and they would be modified. This would be one of the cars post-modification. What would happen exactly is that the tires would be removed, the steering wheel would be removed, and then it would be fitted with train wheels, levers and switches for driving instead of shifters and pedals for driving, a whistle/horn cord, a train whistle or horn, a snowplow, sanders, and this antenna? There would be a special button inside added as well. When that button is pressed, it would activate the closest track switch to change direction. To ensure more safety, when that same button is pressed, the blinkers would blink, along with a bell going off, until it has gotten through the switch. Like this. What should we do about the planes? Since we can't convert them into locomotives, like what I had in mind earlier, I've thought of down to two options. The first one would be for one to be preserved in a museum, in which we could convert an airport to. Second one for it to still be on a set of train wheels, but rather the wings be kept, but the engines be removed, so it can't move on its own. And it could just be on a heritage line, where the steam locomotives and cabooses are these days. And the plane could just be a passenger car as it's pulled by the steam locomotive, while still partially looking like how it did prior. So the plane enthusiasts experience riding inside a plane, but more safely and efficient. However, a steam locomotive, or any locomotive, is far slower than any airplane, of course. So the experience on the airplane-converted passenger car may differ from when it was actually a plane. Now, I mentioned earlier that you don't have to do mass deforestation for track ties. The alternative for wooden track ties would be concrete track ties. Concrete track ties last longer, and they're stronger too, but they are rather heavier as well. Instead of the wooden track ties, the concrete ones would be used for the construction of the tracks that would go all these places. It's also very important that I point out that building an extensive rail network alone would be expensive, so to help fund it, taxes could just fund for the track maintenance instead of the road maintenance. the freight trains wouldn't immediately travel to our houses to collect the cars for modification just yet. As for the corporations that built these cars, they would have only two options. Either to build special locomotives for individuals, and convert their remaining cars into what I like to call railmobiles, or to permanently shut down with a forest to take its place. If they go for the latter, it would do a lot of good for the environment. But if they go for the first option, they can keep up their business. If you're wondering how we're going to be able to travel to other countries without the planes, boats can be used instead. Any questions? Leave them down below in the comment section.